You know, when I didn't know any better, I thought that I had to do everything myself. I thought that I had to establish the designs, write the code, build out the UX, etc., and I tried to do it myself. In fact, I did. That was the most foolish thing that I could have ever done. But within this module, we teach you exactly how to avoid that big mistake that I made. So buckle on your seatbelt and let's get ready to rock and roll. Assembling your company. Lesson 1. Legal. I am not an attorney, nor do I work for the government. However, what I am going to share with you is some rather basic information so that you may do your part in being well within good legal standing, or at least if you're taking my course. Some people may argue that the following steps should occur only after achieving measurable earnings for the company. While that may be true, it is my duty to at least share the information that you should do as soon as possible. So, however, for the sake of knowing how to do things properly, I would like to go over the following. It is suggested that entrepreneurs should review their Secretary of State website or SBA.gov to obtain information for properly establishing their legal entity within the jurisdiction of their business. Decide where you will do business, your address, home. Let's talk about home real quick. As per home, and I hate to stop mid-sentence, but I must acknowledge the world in which we live in today. Don't use your home address. There are loads and loads and loads of videos online about this, so I won't consume too much time talking about it, but just don't use your home address. So if you can use maybe a shared office space or something of that nature, now you can work out of your home, but in terms of registering your company in which the information will be made public, do not use your home address. And you can find some sort of shared office space or something of that nature, perhaps pick up a lease when it is feasible. But whatever you can do to keep costs down up front, maybe find some place that's 30 or 40 bucks per month that will allow you to come in once or twice a month or however frequently you need, maybe for $99 or $200 or whatever the case is. Do not give strangers your home address, because that's exactly what you do when you register your company. I suggest an inexpensive shared office space that you may easily access when getting started or working from home. Keep in mind that all info is public, so perhaps the remote shared office is best. Many offer a free trial or a discounted week or two. Make sure that it offers all that you will need: mail pickup, Wi-Fi, days in the office, decent hours, etc. Go to the government website. You can Google EIN. I wanted to make a side note here. Do not pay any company that's telling you that they can get your EIN for you. An EIN is only provided by the government. So go directly to the government to get it. And the website does not end in .gov, provided it's not spoofed. Move on. Vendor's license, if required. Your vendor's license is typically provided through your state. Now everyone's going to have a unique situation, but as per my experience, an Ohio vendor's license is what's required when you are selling goods above a certain amount over an extended amount of time, not just testing, but, long-term business. That's when you pick up your vendor's license. Do not pick it up until it is required. Here's why. Because your state may do, let's say, a guesstimate of taxes that you would owe. So if you, let's say, get your vendor's license today and then you don't generate any revenues for the next 2 to 3 years, well, within that first year, if you do not properly keep up with all of the monthly filings, your state will do an assessment in which they're not trying to give you a hard time. They're just doing their job. And they will say, hey, look, based upon your industry, you should owe this much in taxes. The point I'm making is save yourself the aggro. Find out if you have to have it. And if you don't have to have it until you're generating revenues, if the government says that you can legally go without it, go without it. Business insurance if required. So again, you can Google this, you can call around and get quotes. And then you will also need to get a business bank account. You do not have a business if you do not have a business bank account, okay? So as per the SBA's website, this is not my advice. I do not give business advice. I do not give financial advice. But as per the SBA's website, sba.gov, they are saying that generally you will need the following, okay? So in addition to the business bank account, you will need your company articles. So your company articles are usually what you get when you register your company or get its license. So Often the registration is called a business license. It's used synonymous with other things, but at least per my experience, you would go to the Secretary of State. So you type in the state in which you plan to incorporate. And again, you can speak with an attorney about this. I am not a legal representative, full disclosure. But you would essentially get your articles of incorporation or whatever kind of articles you get when you start your company per state. And again, you would typically go to your Secretary of State for this, or again, have a legal professional, like someone that you know and have met in person. There will be filing fees usually. And if someone else does it for you, they're going to charge you a fee to do the filing. And I think it's something that you should be able to handle yourself. It's not very complex, but then again, I don't know what sort of structure you're looking to achieve. So for that reason, I'm going to suggest that you speak to legal counsel. EIN, again, this is your employer identification number, and you get that from the government here in the US. You will also be required to have a government issued ID. So this may be just a general government ID or a driver license or something of that nature. Anything else that may be required, they will take care of the rest. So make sure when you do get your business bank account, you have everything in good order, and perhaps a couple of bucks too to establish the account. A lot of accounts will allow you, or a lot of banks will allow you to establish a business bank account with nothing, because it's very competitive now. But I would be prepared to at least have $100, and if I didn't have 100, maybe 20, just so you can have a conversation and get your foot in the door. Again, your bank will tell you what to gather. So again, this is just information that I was able to gather from the SBA.gov website. So going back to what we suggested earlier, you want to establish a relationship with an attorney. And a relationship means just that. You can pick up the phone and call the guy. It's not someone who answers the phone for the person who answers the phone for the person who answers the phone. You call 15 times and you only speak to the guy once. But a relationship is, like you're not constantly pestering your attorney or calling them every 15 minutes, but you share whatever information you need to share, and they will reciprocate with the information that you need to benefit from them. And this is typically established through, documentation, and they will present you with everything. So just follow their lead. So once you really get rolling, establish a relationship with an attorney that can look over all of your company docs, your structure, and assemble any other documents, forms, or agreements required for your company. Do not try to do this yourself. Trying to save a buck will cost you a fortune in the end. Okay, so LegalZoom is not an attorney. I mean, there are attorneys that work through LegalZoom, but again, the best thing that you can do is set aside a buck or two, even if you have to start small. There are a lot of local attorneys and whom would love to take the time to speak with you and get something going, okay? Your attorney may also have a suggestion for keeping up with the company books and taxes, such as the use of QuickBooks. If your company or line of business requires legal advice prior to moving into operation, get it. So for example, I would not suggest starting a construction project or manufacturing without legal advice, proper insurance and bonding, etc.